I am a Whitney Brown, and someday I hope to be the Whitney Brown. I thought I'd talk a little bit about my childhood tonight because, as the saying goes, as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. And I sometimes think my twig is seriously bent. I had a happy childhood. I was raised in a small town, and I still remember those hazy summer mornings, slipping out the back door barefoot with a straw hat on my head and a cane pole slung over my shoulder. Or no, wait, that was a book that I read, Huck Finn, but I had some hard times in my childhood. One time, me and my friend Virgil had to descend into the pit of hell together. And there were like all of these levels, with flatterers and... All right. Okay, that was Dante's Inferno, but I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting you to be that well read. I'll tell you the truth, the truth is I had a very normal upbringing. My father worked in a nuclear power plant. He was real bald, he had a big head. My sister played the saxophone, and all right, it was an episode of The Simpsons. Well, so I read and watched TV a lot when I was a kid, but I had a dog. His name was Brownie. We named him that because he was brown. Sounds kind of stupid, but I didn't think of it. My sister, Pinky, named him. He wasn't much of a dog, but then again, who is? And even if he'd been a good dog, when I was growing up, a good dog was still just a good dog. Nowadays, of course, he'd be a canine American. Now, I've always felt sorry for dogs because of all the creatures on God's earth, they seem to take the least pride in being what they are. Most animals, they seem to have a certain dignity about their particular species. Even a chicken, so stupid a vegetarian can eat it with conscience. And yet... chickens tend to strut through life, They're chickens and they're proud of it. But dogs, they slink through life. They know they're dogs and there's nothing they can do about it. They drink out of the toilet, they eat out of the kitty litter pan, they roll in the garbage, they have bugs all over them, their breath stinks, and they lick themselves in public, and they sponge off people for a living. It's kind of sad. But I believe that there is a spirit that imbues every living thing with dignity, and sometimes even a dog forgets that he's a dog. Maybe just for a moment. Maybe when he's running over an open field and his mind is back thousands of years ago before his race was under that humiliating human thumb. And in that moment, he's free and proud and just dogging it. And that's when I love to watch him. So I can yell at him, "Bad dog!" Now, my dog Brownie was part bloodhound and part lab, and he had huge skin like a bloodhound does. The kind of dog you could grab him in any two places, and he could still turn around inside his skin and bite you. Especially his jowls. He had these huge jowls. Whenever he laid his head down, his lips would just spread out in a big pool around his head. And it was his undoing because he was sleeping between two parked cars one day, and he had his lips all spread out, taking the sun. A car ran over his lips. Brought him home. My brother and I couldn't afford to take him to the vet, so we decided to fix him up ourselves, and we got a needle and thread and a bottle of Clorox, and we sewed him back together. It did heal him. He recovered, and it wasn't a perfect job. We weren't surgeons, but the fact is we took a little too much on the lower lip when we sewed it together, and as a result, he barked with a lisp for the rest of his life. Didn't hurt his health, but ruined him socially.